through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart. Verse 19, who being past feeling having given themselves over unto lasciviousness. And I'll get on that word next week and look more into that next week. But it basically, that definition of that sin is being filled with or showing sexual desire. They're being filled. Why? Because they're ignorant, because their hearts are darkened, because they live in darkness. And what does that lead to? Same thing it did in Romans chapter 1. Anything. And that sin is being filled with or showing sexual desire. He said the world, again, the Gentiles, the world, those that are without, those that are not saved, they walk in this sin. Folks, look around the world. Get on the television set. Turn on the news even. You can't even watch the news. And if the news is clean, the commercials aren't. Even radio has gotten bad. And you get on social media, any avenue of social media is filled with this sin of lasciviousness. Filled with it. The existence of that desire has always been here, but it is being filled with that or showing that desire. Girls and young ladies can't take pictures without being half naked anymore. And guys can't stop looking at them. The world is filled with that sin, covered with it. And it's covering from the church house to the schoolhouse to the home to our government. It has encased the whole system, and it's eaten away at the fabric of our society. It's not a popular subject. Why? Because it's in every home, every heart, every body. It affects us every day. It is a battle that most fight every day. Now, you say, well, I don't battle it as much as another does. It's when we become overly obsessed with our appearance. Nothing wrong with looking good. But when we are overly obsessed with it, we're living in a time that is more obsessed with how we look and how we appeal to those around us than we have ever been before. It's become our God. Why? Again, nothing wrong with being in shape, nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. Everybody should do that. But when it becomes your God, and all you care about is drawing the attention of the opposite sex, then it's wrong. Then it's wrong. I didn't get too many amens. But it says, who being past, feeling having given themselves over. Given themselves over. Now get that now. Given themselves over. They cried surrender. They said, I give up. And when they do that, as you'll read in Romans chapter 1, and we'll dive more into this next time, I promise. When we go to Romans chapter 1, we'll do that Sunday night. Sunday night, we'll look at Romans chapter 1. We'll look at this verse again, this word in greater depth and detail, and look at what is behind all that we see. I'll give you some staggering analysis, things that really answer and speak to everything, answers most questions of what's wrong with society today. It all stems back to this sin that's taken over. How do we walk worthy? We avoid it. How do we walk worthy? We flee fornication. That's the only way. Say, well, I get stuck, caught, and tangled. That's because you're not growing. That's because we're not growing. Most people that don't go to church, I would say about 2% of them have a reasonable complaint that something maybe bad happened directly to them inside the sanctuary of God's house. 98%, they dove into this. They got tangled up. They got so tangled up, they began to listen to the devil, saying that he won't listen to them no more. God won't listen. God can't help them. You're too far gone. Shame on you. You don't even go. What's the use? And that's where they got them. That's where they got them. And that leads to everything else. And we'll look more at that. If I don't stop, we'll be at Romans chapter 1. We'll look more at that next week. Romans chapter 1 and where this sin leads to. and what humanity's capable of. Because what we see today, I'll close with this thought, Brother Philip, come on up. What we see today, church, is nothing new. As I said at the beginning of the lesson tonight, there's nothing new under the sun. What we see now has been going on. It had gotten really bad. A great awakening came and a revival came in the world, and it cleaned up things for a while. They were still there, but it cleaned things up. We even banned alcohol in this country for about a decade. But it come back with a vengeance. Come back with a vengeance. It leads to all sorts of things. Ephesians chapter 4, we'll finish it up Sunday on how to walk worthy in God. Brother Philip Clyde, if you come grab an offering pan.